Any doubt, ma? No. Okay, ma. Let's move with the next topic. Construction of loops. Okay, construction of loops. Okay. So here, how we are going to construct the loops. Okay. Any loops. Okay. Already we know about for, while, and also do while. Okay. Already we know about for, while, and do while. Okay. Those three loops. Okay. Always have these three conditions. Okay. Always have these three conditions. First one is initial conditions, invariant relation, and also terminate condition. Okay, invariant relation and terminate condition. Okay, so we are using the loops. Okay, almost all the loops following these three conditions. Okay, that is initial condition. Okay, where the loop should start. That should be known as initial condition. Okay, where the loop should start. Okay, that should be known as initial condition. Okay, so okay, one. Here I am going to write for loop. Okay, so our initial condition is I is the counter variable. Okay, a looping variable. We are initialize I as 0. Okay, the starting condition is 0. I as 0. Okay, then okay, ma. Probably we are initialize it as 0. Okay, in some problem we are initialize it as 1. Okay, in data structure we are start our execution always from 1. Always we will start our execution from 1. Okay, so initial condition is where our loop should to begin to execute. Okay, so from which condition we are going to start our execution. Okay, instead of I 0, okay, we can start our execution from 10 also. We can start our execution from the 10 also. Okay, then invariant relation. Okay, next one is invariant relation. Okay, that is how the loop should be iterated, in which way the loop should be iterated. Okay, for example, I want to store okay, probably we are using the array. Okay, character array. In character array, I want to store my name only in the odd positions. Okay, only in the odd position. In the even position, I want to store some student name. Okay, I want to store some student name. Okay, so I am going to store odd. I am going to store the value of. Sorry, I am going to store my name in the odd position, and in the even position, I am going to store some student name. Okay, so there is a need to find the odd positions. Okay, there is a need to find the odd positions. Okay, so or there is a need to find even positions. Okay, so how we can find it easily? Okay, it should be identified using the invariant relation. Okay, almost we are using the last condition, increment or decrement condition. We will write I plus plus and we will close the for loop. Okay, we will close the for loop. Okay, already skip one part in the for loop. Okay, we are, am I right? Am I right? Skip one part and also write only two parts. Yes or no? First part is known as initial condition. Are you following me? The last part, okay, ma. The last part is known as invariant relation. Okay, that is I plus plus is known as invariant relation. Okay, that is known as invariant relation. Okay, so if you want to increment by 1, that time we can use I plus plus. Okay, maybe if you want to increment by 2, okay, that time we can change this invariant relation as I equal to I plus 2. Okay, So few programming language should support this type of signature or syntax. Few should not support to increment like that. Few programming language should be supported to us increment like this in the for loop itself. Okay, some programming language cannot support to increment like that. Okay, this is invariant relation. Okay, why I am going to increment the variable counter variable by 2. Okay, my requirement is I am going to store my name only in the even position. Okay, I am going to store my name in the even position. Okay, odd position for my students. Okay, odd position for my students. Okay, when I decide like that, okay, there is a need to change this invariant relation. Okay, that is our incrementation or decrementation area. Okay, then one more thing is when we stop the execution. Okay, when we stop the execution. Okay, that is termination condition. Okay, the middle part of for loop specify the termination condition. Middle part is specify the termination condition. Okay, so when I write I is less than 100. Okay, I is less than 100. Okay, up to 98 position I can store my name. Okay, up to 98. Okay, I can store my name. Okay, so this is known as termination terminate condition. Okay, so it support when we should stop our for loop execution. Okay, we are decide when we can stop our iteration. Okay, so this is construction of loops. Okay, this is construction of loops. Okay, then how we are going to initialize condition for loops. Okay, how we are going to initialize the condition for loops. Okay, so initialization is an effective strategy. Okay, it's an effective strategy. Okay, when we forget this initialization, okay, that is when we can initialize the value in the wrong way, automatically it produces the wrong output. Okay, automatically it's produce the wrong output. Okay, so initialization is more important in the loop concept. Okay, in the loops the initialization is too important. Okay, ma'am, you know how to find the Fibonacci value, am I right? I'm right. How to calculate the Fibonacci value? I'm right. 5 sorry ma, factorial. Sorry, factorial. Okay. You know how to find the factorial? Am I right? Yes or no? 5 factorial equal to 5 factorial equal to ma, I'm expecting your answer. Ma, unmute and speak. 5 factorial equal to 120. Okay, 5 factorial equal to 120. Okay, so we are calculate like 5 into 4 into 3 into 2 into 1 or 1 into 2 into 3 into 4 into 5. Okay, we can implement that thing using the for loop also. Okay, using the for loop also. Okay, so when I say for, sorry, okay, for I equal to 0, I is less than or equal to 5. I plus plus. Okay, before that I initialize factorial. Okay, for that purpose I use the variable f equal to 1. Okay, initialize it as 1. Okay, because 0 factorial equal to 1. When I write f equal to f, sorry, f into I, shall we get the result? Shall this loop should be supported me to produce the 5 factorial value? Anyone? Anyone? Already time up. I'm expecting answer. Okay, is this for loop produce the factorial of 5? No, because we are initialize I equal to 0. Okay, when it's enter into the first time, we are multiply already f equal to 1. 1 into 0 is becomes 0. Okay, 1 into 0 become 0. Afterwards, when we are increment the I value, it becomes 1, 2, 3 up to 5. Okay, but always we are multiply it with 0. Anyway, it's return the result as 0. So the initialization is too important. Okay, so here there is a need to initialize it as 1. Okay, this is to find the perfect initialization. Okay, that should be too important. Okay, so in the most of the problem we should use either 0 or 1. Okay, most of the problem we should use either 0 or 1. Okay, then next one is we should find the iterative construct. Okay, we should find the iterative construct. Okay, that is whenever we are solved the problem, how we are going to move to the next step. Okay, that should be identified using the iterative construct. Okay, that is iterative relation. Okay, so when we are initialize I equal to 0, okay, we are going to store at a of 0. Okay, that is maybe we are going to store at array. Okay, when I value equal to 0, then a of 0. Okay, we are going to store the value at a of 0th location. Okay, when I increment, then it move to I value equal to 1. That is a of 1. Okay, then one more time when we are increment, then that should be a of 2. We are going to store the values at second location. Okay, a of 2. Okay, then when I becomes 3, we are going to store the value at a of 3. Okay, instead of that, already I told I want to store my name in the odd position or even position. There is a need for to change in the iterative construct. Okay, there is a need to change in the iterative construct. Either we can increment by 2, 5 or anything. Okay, like that we can change it. Okay, so always the iterative construct should be supported to us to move to the next value. Okay, move to the next position. Okay, for that purpose we are using the iterative construct. Okay, then termination of the loop. Okay, that is too important. Okay, if we forget this termination condition, okay, it should move with the infinite loop. Okay, it's move to the infinite loop. Okay, we can't to stop our execution. We can't to stop our execution. Okay, so to find the termination of our loop, that should be too important while we are using the loops. Okay, while we are using the loops. Okay, so the termination also too important whenever we are using the loops. Okay, we forget, automatically we lose our termination condition. Okay, okay, so the loop termination condition, okay, that can be done in two ways. Okay, one is conditional based, another one is unconditional based. Okay, one is unconditional based, another one is unconditional based. Okay, let's see the first example. There is for loop. It starts from 1 and also it's repeat until to reach n. Okay, without any condition, it's going to repeat n times. Okay, it's going to n times. Okay, that's why we can say n iteration. Okay, so the first loop terminates unconditionally after n iteration. Okay, after nth iteration, it's automatically stop its process. Okay, the second one is here we are check the given value x is greater than 0 and it's less than 10. Okay, so our exam value, given value x values lies between 0 and 10. That time the loop should be executed or repeated. Okay, when we can give a value as 11, it's automatically come out from the program. Okay, this is conditional based termination. Okay, this is known as conditional based termination. Okay, okay, ma. So that's all about today class. Okay, thank you so much, ma. If you have any doubt,